Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we actually have some pretty interesting news once again, kind of following the big news this week of the upcoming potential PlayStation 5 Slim, or like a PlayStation 5 Pro. Now, we actually now have official statements over here from proper interviews and discussions discussing this, saying how excited it's going to be for new hardware, how's going to be new hardware being teased, and as well a very in-depth kind of conversation going on with the PS4, PS4 Pro timeline, PS5, PS5 Pro or Slim timeline, and a lot of other various things too from huge Sony executives, and as well, kind of some other little various news to go and talk about. So we have a very intriguing Japanese interview, and as well, I want to highlight some of the really key points in regards to this brand new PlayStation 5 Slim, PlayStation VR2, production issues, semiconductor issues, and all that in between, and a lot of good information. A few little various stories too as well dived on in with this one, so if you guys will stay tuned, relax, and enjoy. And as well, make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on, as well for the brand new PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, or $500 cash giveaway. It's going to be ending pretty soon. We have the Twitter and Twitch streams down below if you guys want to follow up here too as well. We also do have the Target links, we have the Amazon links too for bonus entries, and let's dive into the video. So let me go on to kind of start off really quick, but there's a lot of other cool side stuff tied on in, and this is going to start off first with the PlayStation 5 Slim. Just to kind of catch you guys up really quickly before we have the new information from these leaks, slash, I guess more so not necessarily leaks, more interviews, is that in America and also in American-based developers, we have been seeing now this information this week where there is going to be a potential combination PlayStation 5 disc and PlayStation 5 digital console that's essentially just merging the two into one with a detachable, basically hard drive. So it's more of like a plug and play or a USB play, or just something maybe just sold on the side, such as like a charging dock if you guys have seen those. And with all of that put together, that basically means that they're working on a brand new console. Now, the big reason why people are kind of speculating more on a brand new console versus just a weird hardware side is that the fact that this is kind of getting close to the same amount of time that the PS5 Pro came out, or PS4 Pro came out from the PS4. And as you guys know, we're now inching into the third year now of the PlayStation 5, which still kind of seems weird because I still have been doing restocking videos, although I think we will be ending those soon. But when it comes to this stuff, we are getting to the point where there might be a nice little either graphics update, internal update, slimming of the console down, and we keep on progressing, at least in my own thoughts, with the progression that's ongoing right this second, with the consoles getting smaller and smaller and smaller. That's just the next major step, because heating is getting more efficient, internals are getting more efficient and smaller, and everything all in between. So I want to go and I'll show and highlight one and a few different major conversations over here. So this is a little bit more on the tail end of the Famitsu interview over here, discussing this, where we now have a few different statements, and they're actually all they're good conversations too, but we'll focus on this and do other things in a second. So now they go and ask, now the PS5 has entered its third year, which is technically true. It's now in technically year 3. PS4 released the PS4 Pro 3 years after its launch, but I hope you can talk about future prospects. So we're going to highlight on this. By the end of 2022, we believe that the cumulative number of sales will now be exceeding 37 million consoles, which is insane. Like if you kind of put it even towards the Switch, that's at 100 million over 8 years. This number is huge if they hit it, which will be a very important time for the platform itself. I am not going to talk about anything specific at this time, but we would like to go and have you guys expect more from 2023 next year. Now, this is kind of like a very sure, like they're just saying be on the lookout for more stuff. But I want to remind everyone, at this point, there is nothing else really in the whole ecosystem to really release. They've already released skins for the console, the brand new DualSense controller, and PlayStation VR2 is talked about heavily, which will highlight some more of that stuff in this article, all throughout this interview. There is, unironically, there's already TVs set out for Sony, there's already brand new headsets already set out, there's like everything all in between. There really isn't that much more unless there's something completely left field that will be coming out in 2023. Now, that also leads to the fact that we have now been seeing two different separate huge industry, I guess, moments when it comes to them releasing the PlayStation 5 Pro, Slim, whatever you want to go call it, most likely Slim, is number one that we saw a lot of dev kits that were being sent out to other folks around 4 or 5 months ago. It's been a little while. We haven't really seen too much more updates because they probably have that, they hit the news cycle, so they're probably like, we got to cut this. We got to make sure no one else talks about this before any proper announcements come out. But part two, And throughout this past week, we have now been seeing these huge leaks with these detachable consoles and combinations of consoles as well. And now a lot of folks are now assuming that would be in combination with the brand new Spider-Man game announcing in the fall, and maybe a double launch with a new brand new PlayStation 5 Slim and everything else all tied on in. So a big thing to kind of note too is that while they were also discussing PlayStation VR2, that's also why they're just not doing this. This is something completely different. And even the question was on the PS4 Pro. And when you kind of have someone bring up, hey, what's going on with the PS5 Pro or PS5 Slim? Yeah, expect more later on next year. That's kind of a pretty big leaked announcement. So some other big things to kind of note too as well is when they have all the PlayStation VR2 news, and as well they're kind of discussing things on Japan. Number one, they want to make sure that they are making enough production when it comes out to Japan, and that they're able to actually go and get all these consoles out here. Because globally, they are still having production issues. China, Japan, Australia, and everything else in between. So they're saying by making one more and delivering to everyone in Japan, we'll be focusing on changing the voice of such points and the impressions that have improved. And basically when it talks about the voice, it's like actually interacting with the community, how it actually interacts with what games they make and everything in between. And they're saying they want to go and have more games, more consoles, more everything for Japan and everyone who enjoys the JRPG sides. They'd really go and like that too as well. Now, they also had a statement too on the software where it has the stated title, released in previous models are not backwards compatible for the PSVR2. What about the possibility now of porting? They're actually going saying too for the controller is also tracking new features with the actual VR with new rendering methods that enhance the resolutions of the part with the eye focus, making the system itself a lot more different from the previous model. So they want to say they want to go and do it, but it's not super easy. It's not the easiest one-to-one thing to go and mote. And they're talking about like the tracking movement of the PSVR body and PS Move with the new controller, new also like haptic feedback, something else all in between when it comes to their console themselves. Now, we've also been kind of seeing too as well that there is a lot of people saying that it is at least thankfully easy to develop on the PSVR2 as well. And they're saying, yep, Capcom was very concerned. They want to be on top of the VR. They think their games would be really fun to go play on that. And as well, it also just probably would bolster up sales and also probably bolster up secondary sales for someone who maybe enjoyed the game a lot. So at least do have a lot more proper good support when it comes to all this. And as well, so they also did go and highlight the price point for the PlayStation VR2, saying, hey, this is a really expensive price point, like 75,000 yen. It's also said to be affordable for this price by people familiar with VR devices. With this performance, but as a user, it is easy to get out. So it doesn't seem to be a mount. It seems like a good setting for the function. Now, some of this wording might be weird because it's a Japanese article, so just kind of going through Google Translate too, but they're basically saying, hey, we kind of know it's experience, we kind of know it's expensive, but we want to give them a really good experience on the PlayStation VR2, and while it is expensive, it is brand new tech and also cheaper in comparison to other brand new models too as well. But they're also kind of even worried, saying too, I'm worried about the long-term and like short-term lineups for all the games coming out too as well. And while they also go and say, and this kind of ties into the PlayStation 5 Slim and talking about those quote-unquote leaks, etc., it does kind of go and show that they've had a chance to play on it, they've had a chance to utilize it, they've had devs already like check it out, and this is the person you'd want to trust for things like a PlayStation 5 Slim or a PlayStation 5 Pro kind of sneak peek. So it's very nifty to go and see all this put together. And there's a lot of other various stuff too. It's like most of the articles more focused on the PSVR, but I think you guys probably care more about the PlayStation 5 Slim as we discussed on this one. But it's really cool. We're finally getting some really good information. There's a lot more. If we're going to do more of a deeper dive, we can, but then it also go make sure that there's a proper good update. And they also did highlight that the PSVR 1 also had a similar time frame and yearage in comparison to the PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4 Pros / Slims as well. So it's a lot of good stuff to talk about this, a lot of good leaks going on too as well, and it does also kind of even talk about other different types of platforms too, where they've been trying their best to get more stuff on PC, try to get more stuff on mobile. And that does go and kind of lead to the fact that we're seeing even Astro's Playroom devs now looking for studios to collaborate on new mobile games. So that's also kind of cool to see this, that we're seeing like more of an expansion to PSVR 2, PS like Slims, PlayStation 5 Slims or Pros, whatever they decide to do, and as well seeing more brand new mobile heads. And Astro's Playroom had a really good reception when it comes to everything in between. So Team Asobi is now looking for producers who can now manage these mobile titles in collaborations with external devs. And last but not least, a little fun story. We did see someone at the Final Fantasy VII Remake had a full-on motion-controlled Buster Sword where players can attack, guard, and move using this replica sword over here, which I always love these random Twitch streamers that do these nifty things. I have to do more fun stuff on my Twitch stream, that is for sure. So give me your thoughts and comments down below as well. Make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on, as well for the brand new PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, or $500 cash. Twitter and Twitch stream down below to follow for bonus giveaway entries, and Amazon and Target links too. And I appreciate you guys all so much for watching here in the first place.